Right, welcome to a special edition of Ask GCN Tech. I'm joined by, well, to be honest with you, I thought he was a mythical character that didn't exist outside of the interweb, or whatever you want to call it. Mr. Calvin Jones, the Director of Education, I think I've got that right,
That's right.
for Park Tool. A guy who, well, I'm getting goosebumps really, just sat next to him because he's taught me a lot in the past. I've been looking through his little manuals, and well, welcome.
Thanks for being here in the Bath.
Yeah, in Bath,
yep.
yeah. So we asked you to submit your questions for Calvin, and well, we've picked out some absolute crackers, haven't we?
Yes, crackers and cheeses, actually.
Yeah, what a way to start.
That's right.
We do like a pun. So first one is actually from Jesus Slice. How do you remove and cover scratches and chips in your frame, and how long did it take to grow the moustache?
The last question is about 62 years now. So for the first question, though, that's a really good one. A lot of people, my bike is actually, it's maybe not my first child. It was a piece of jewelry. It's a bike. Can we say that here? It's a bike.
We can, yeah.
Bikes are for riding. Bikes are for riding. We're going to go with that.
Generally.
Yeah. So yes, you're going to get some scratches on it, and sometimes, it's unfortunate, but you know, you got scars. I got a hacksaw mark here. I got a knife wound over here.
I bet you've lost some skin off the knuckles.
The skin out early on.
Yeah.
You bet. Calluses. Be proud of your scars. Be proud of the scars on your bike. So, are you going to match the color? I got that hot fuchsia. I'm going to sand it down and feather it. It's going to look like you're trying to match it. So don't match it. Get a sticker on it. We have an ugly stain. Trust him. Now, no ugly stain. Yeah, it's covered up. So you're making a statement. Political, animal, botany, take your pick.
Yeah. All right, next up, Charlie Knight. How important is it to use a torque wrench when installing components? Are there any components that you fit looser than you'd expect to when you use a torque wrench?
With the torque wrench, you are tightening by hand. What's important to understand is what's going on. What's happening when you're tightening this? It stretches. I'm very pleased to be here in the UK, in England. It's the home of giants. Some of my favorite rock stars. James Young, Young's Modulus. Oh, what a great guy. He rocks. He taught us about stretching, about ratio of stretching. When we tighten this bolt, watch carefully, everyone in their audience. Did we see it?
Just about.
Yeah, it was, when you tighten it, you're giving the bolt a wedgie. It's getting longer, okay? It's a little, in that pressure of trying to come back together, it holds that joint tight. So what are we saying? This can achieve that. Turning it with the hand wrench also achieves it. Generally, as a rule of thumb, on little bitty screws, people tend to over tighten. Great big ones, people tend to under tighten. Crank arm bolt tend to be too loose. People put them in too loose. And some of the stem bolts, too tight.
One area actually, which I think people often over tighten, even smaller than that, has to be the rear derailleur hanger.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Because remember, viewing audience, when you're putting that wheel in, clamping it, or through axle, tightening it down, that's also holding it tight. So you don't need killer torque on that. The old rule of thumb, on any fastener, however, you want it as tight as the weakest link in the joint will allow. The weak link determines the tension, determines the tightness. Yep.
There we are. Well, I hope that's
Are you with us, Charlie?
Yeah, I hope you still are, Charlie. Now, Stefano Savastra. I hope I've got your name right. What do you reckon it is? Savastra?
Yeah,
Savastra?
I'll go with that.
All right. How do I fix spoke noises? When I pinch them together, they make a sound like they pop. Help.
Yes.
So when you squeeze them together,
yes,
make a little bit of a...
So don't do that. Don't squeeze them. So next. No. Let's be nice to him. So typically noises are going to come from things moving against one another.
Yeah.
Right? Our little friends, the cicadas in America, the crickets that rub their legs, they're making noise. So your cranks creak, your wheels creak, something is moving against something. And looseness, typically loose, is often a sign that your spoke tension is too low.
Right.
If you notice it when you ride, that's one thing. But if you're just squeezing them and then when you ride there's nothing, then don't worry about it.
The fat cyclist. This is probably the question which everybody out there wants to know.
Yes.
Why are bottom brackets so confusing?
Oh boy,
We've already spoken about this off camera, and we nearly came to blows.
We have to go to another famous bike mechanic, Rodney King, saying, why can't we all get along? Why can't we all get along? What's wrong with the threaded bottom bracket? So we used to have this. This is a bottom bracket on a stick. I hope our viewers will
titanium
see that
as well.
Yes, that's right.
It's lightweight, isn't it?
It's the heaviest of the light metals, excuse me. So the threaded ones, what's wrong with this? I'll tell you right now, teeny weeny. What a cute little bottom bracket. Oh, it's so teeny weeny. We can't have big tubes coming into this. So now we got to have our big wide tube. There's not enough surface area to weld. This is where the big ones started to come from, and the wide ones. Threads are fantastic for taking things apart and putting together. That's what it's for. Welds are trying to make two pieces one permanently. All right? No one would say unweld this and put it in. But now what we're seeing, of course, is the pressed. This is a pressed bottom bracket, and this is the fun thing. Do you speak English? Or do I speak?
Well, we kind of. There is a little bit of an issue here, isn't there? Because you say aluminum.
Yeah.
I say aluminium.
Yeah, and
but,
So what's wrong with that? We don't even have the same language to talk about bottom brackets.
No.
Okay. So you just told me about a press. What was your bottom bracket?
BB86.
BB80. What does that mean?
Exactly.
Bottom bracket 86 millimeters wide. Okay. BB30 is 30 millimeters wide. No, that's the diameter of the spindle.
Yeah.
How about a PF41? That's what this is, folks. PF41, what is that? Press fit 41 millimeters diameter. PF42 would be the same as a BB30.
Yeah.
So we, in our own industry, on the inside, we don't even know how to talk about things, okay? So bottom brackets are confusing.
On your favorite bike, what bottom bracket do you have on there?
Oh yeah, my favorite bike would be the BSC threading. Yeah. Oh, this is even better. So we sometimes call this, is this an English threaded bottom bracket?
Yeah. BSA threaded, yeah.
Well, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And then what about the old Raleighs? They're made in England. Are they this threading? No. It's a 26 TPI, not a 24 TPI. What's up with that?
And then there was French threading.
There was French threading and
Italian threaded.
And Swiss threading. Difference between French and Swiss?
No.
There is.
Is there?
Yeah. The Swiss, the left side thread on the drive side. See? So even back when we thought we got along, right? We never got
It's never been simple, has it? Next one, and this is something which I think real pedantic road cyclists, such as myself, are so passionate about. Please, this is from Christopher Evans.
Three pleases.
That's why Christopher Evans got his question in. Please, how to set up two sets of wheels, each with center lock discs, but different brand hubs, without having to realign the caliper each time, because I know what's happening. He's either getting, his disc isn't aligned, is it, in the caliper, or it's getting that really annoying rubbing noise.
Yeah, I have one set of wheels. It's fine, I switch them around. Okay, so we have our nice wheel here. So what we're saying here, there is a standard. There is a standard that the hub, this plane here where it attaches to the fork, and then the plane that the rotor attaches to is a set difference. Okay, So as we like to say in America, this ain't rocket science. Well, but it is. Even the Hubble Space Telescope had issues. Manufacturers are a little bit off on that tolerance. All right, they're actually allowed to be. They need to be. All right. If you want to keep the price of this hub below $10,000, you want to have some tolerances there. So you throw on one rotor with some tolerances on a hub with another tolerance. You get tolerance stacking. We're stacking our tolerances. Throw it in the bike. Maybe it's rubbing this side a little bit. Then I put in another set. Now it's rubbing this side a little bit. Okay, what to do? That's the explanation. Who cares? What do we do? This is a 6 bolt.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you can shim it. There are actually little shims underneath. You want those very tight, of course, but it gets really tricky when you are here with the center lock.
Yeah.
Do not shim this. No bubble gum, no beer can. Don't do it. So what to do? On some axles, okay, if we have a threaded axle, we can manipulate the distance from the axle end to the rotor.
Right.
Okay, that would be possibly an option. Okay, but sometimes, please, sometimes there's no good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's through axle, cartridge bearing here, we're looking at machining one or getting a custom end cap that would interchange the two to be nice. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the easiest thing to do really is probably just realign those calipers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, here we go. The Dan. I hope this isn't my colleague Dan Lloyd. How do you stop squeaky cleats? Tried all the videos regarding to this on the GCN archive, but to no avail. So there we are. I've failed miserably there with the Dan.
I think we can say, John, video guy, watch it again.
Yeah. Try it again. You obviously didn't watch properly.
That's properly. Yeah. Put the beer down. I think something's moving, right?
Yeah,
so that's right. So loosen and make sure we're good and greased under here. And there can be cases, plastic to plastic, is a tick or a squeak. If it's actually a squeak, it's probably that plastic to plastic. It's a different sound that you get. Sometimes a shim, a really thin plastic shim between the two, a gasket. You're creating a gasket to help reduce and stop that squeal.
Yeah.
Good example. Going back again, we talked about the creaks before and the cricket. You have a cricket, it's driving you crazy at night. Take some grease between the wings, it'll be quiet. Well,
very quiet.
It's vegan grease. So it's going to be quiet for a while, but it's going to wear out.
Yeah.
So that's why a more permanent solution is better. But I'm going to say if you truly have tried everything, torqued everything tight, not just torqued it with the torque wrench, but tight, and there's still some movement, a gasket under there, because you won't hear it. It may move a little bit, but you won't hear it.
Now, Lagerwell, people say my legs look thin. So should I shave my legs to make them look even more thin?
That's interesting. Your pistons there, we're going to call them your pistons, because remember the bike doesn't stop at the crank, it doesn't stop, it goes right on up to the top of your pointy little head, lugger wall.
That's right. Lugger wall.
So you're contracting those muscles, you're driving those pistons down. They should be considered part of the bike and they should be kept clean, which is one of the real reasons to shave your leg. We talked about paint finishes before. And paint, by the way, if you keep a frame clean, it stays cleaner longer. Dirt loves to stick to dirt. Dirt loves to stick to hair. So that's one reason. And to make them even look more thin, well, be proud of who you are. Yep. Be proud of who you are. All body types are loved and welcome here for the most
100%.
part. Yeah.
And should he shave or wax, do you reckon? Or
strip, do the strip.
Do the strips,
screening. More pain. If you love the pain, we would do the wax and strip.
There we are. Yeah. Wax and strip. David Curran, how can you tell when a rim is worn out or needs replacing?
That's a fun one. There's two different types of wear. Now, I bet our good friend David here, are we a rim breaker? Rim breakers.
I reckon David's a rim breaker, yeah.
So he's old timer like me. So what we're saying, we're breaking with our rim pads up at the rim surface. And if you're getting abrasion there, you're going to wear that out eventually. And the simple method is to take any kind of straight edge, a tool with a straight edge, we lay it up on our rim, and if it's a concave...
I was looking for one. It's just behind you. Here we go.
Yeah, we are. Oh. So if we have a flat surface, we'll see that they meet and there's no daylight. But, see, it's dished. Now I'm getting daylight. If you can see daylight, if it's dished at all, if you can feel the rim with the dish, out of there.
Yeah.
And of course, the EU, am I allowed to say that here?
Yeah.
The EU is saying that you must manufacture a wear mark in the modern rims. There'll be a teeny little hole
those little dots.
Or a line, and if those lines have disappeared or the holes disappeared, get out of there. Because eventually it's going to blow the rim out. Okay, so that's one type of wear. It needs replacing. Rim needs replacing if it's bent beyond rideability. Yeah. So the spoke truing can do some good in making your wheel straight, but if you physically have bent the metal where it can't come back, you've exceeded the elastic limit coming back to our good friend James.
Yeah.
And it's not repairable.
Yeah. Likewise, you hit one of those potholes.
Yeah,
hard,
that's gonna do it.
Yeah. Once it happens.
I was just riding along.
Our favourite quote, that,
Yep,
isn't it? Just
that's
riding along,
Yeah.
and it happened. Now, Nieman Pest, or Nieman Pest, how important is frame facing and reaming? None of my local bike shops have the necessary tools. The head tube ends on a traditional lugged frame I recently purchased are not perfectly parallel.
Perfect. We seek perfection here at GCN, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Or close enough.
Yeah.
Basically, rugby, I know they do this in some American, no blood, no foul. Pretty much.
Right, yeah.
If the headset adjusts nicely, if the bearings adjust nicely and smooth, ride the bike. Ride the bike. So we're talking about the surfaces of the head tube. Let's take a bottom bracket. Here we go. Come back up again. So this surface and this surface, if we extend this with the ruler and another ruler, on a bad one, you can actually see the two parallel lines converge.
Yeah.
That's not good. A bearing would be sitting crooked in here, and it would bind and wear out sooner. Absolutely. But if it adjusts nicely, spins nicely with no binding and grabbing as it goes around, it's close enough.
Al Rad High. I want to avoid rim crack and hub flange crack. Is it always better to use spoke washers and or nipple washers to make my wheel more durable? Now, spoke washers and nipple washers, don't see them very often anymore.
I'm the old school.
Yeah.
Old school's watching you.
These questions, yeah.
Okay,
I'm
Grandpa.
amazed.
You're like me. Where's the corking question? When are we going to talk about corking our rims? So he's saying, he's talking about at the rim, and he's trying to avoid point loading. Point loading. So if we're pulling here with tension, okay, so we can use our kilogram force or Newton, maybe 1,000 Newton pull, pretty tight spoke. If we can spread out the load there with a washer, it's going to be nice. If you see rims that are eyeletted, that's what they're doing. They're helping spread out that load. And if you can do it even further with a washer, that's good. But the number one thing, don't over tighten.
Oh.
Don't over tighten. That's what, yep.
So I'll let you into a little story here, why I became so interested in bike mechanics. It was an Easter holidays back in 1994. I was at home, had a bike. My rear wheel had a very slight buckle in it. So, went in my dad's toolkit, got a spoke key, started to try and true up a wheel for the first time ever. That wheel became so out of true by the time my grubby little hands had done their work, you couldn't actually remove the wheel from the frame because it was that badly out of shape.
And that's the beginning of the career we have now.
Yeah, exactly.
Folks.
And anyway, long story short, my mum didn't say much. All she said to me was, wait until your father gets home. My dad came home. I had to face the music. I explained it. And surprisingly, he didn't kill me. And I asked him, once he'd sort of scratched his head a little bit, I said, Dad, why have you not told me off? And he said, well, when I was your age, I did exactly the same thing.
Nice.
And the next day, once I'd undone all of the spokes and got the wheel out, I learned how to build wheels that next day.
That is a really important story, our viewing fans. We learn more from our failures than our successes.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes those failures can be quite expensive, Mr. Carbon Rim.
Yeah.
But they're still important to remember, and that's the sign of a good mechanic. You're going to log that up here and remember and add that to your database, right? You're building your own little database. So, yeah.
How did you get into mechanics, by the way?
It's almost a similar story. So, I bought a bike, and it was at this hardware store, and it was a Clubman Steyr Daimler Puch.
Right.
And
They're from Austria. Puch.
Austria?
Yeah, I had one.
Yeah.
In 1992, I had a Puch.
Nice lugged.
White with green headband.
Yeah. So the first week I had it, didn't shift anymore, and the shifter was sliding down the top tube. It was sliding down.
Okay.
And I tightened it, and it was still sliding down. And I'm going to take this back. I made my parents drive me to the shop, and I walked into the mechanic, and this is not working. This is sliding down. This needs to be fixed. And the guy looked at me, looked at the bike, looked at me, and he says, you put a pop can under there, and it'll fix it. And I looked up at that guy and thought, I can do their job. I can do this. And
went from there.
They went from there.
Blimey. The next question, we've already answered for Steve JH, because it was, Mr. J, were you a mechanic who realised he had a gift for teaching, or an educator first with an interest in bikes? So I reckon Steve JH, he thought you were a lecturer at Harvard or something like that, and you thought, I've had enough of this.
Well, it's similar story. Went to school, went to college. I was going to get I got my double major, and economics was one of my majors. And I had some professors, and they were really good. I wanted to teach. I wanted to go and get my master's and get a doctorate, right? And I worked in a shop. I always worked in a shop there, and it was just too much fun. So never got the degree. Worked for the national team and Barnett Institute, and then Park Tool. So just life takes you. You don't know.
Carson Jones, I'd like to know what Calvin would include in a well-stocked saddlebag that perhaps most riders don't already include. Are there items you find helpful or essential that are often overlooked?
Oh boy, that is a really good one. That's a good one, because first, who are you? Who are you? So, Welch, we can assume Jones, right? So
possibly,
So, but what kind of things do you want to do? So, are you the type of person that's interested in me? Well, then you're going to be real minimalist. Well, everyone first has to start with a multi-tool, and the multi-tool that we recommend is
mine.
So you see John grab his multi-tool. So it's a screwdriver, a T25, the usual, right? That's nice. Your tire levers are nice. A little boot for the ripped tire is nice. Tubeless people, some of the patches, good luck with them. We'll see how they play out. All those type of things.
Oh, like the plugs.
The plugs, that's right. Or a porcupine.
Worms or something.
Porcupine quill. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you're just concerned with you, there's only so much. But what else is out there? You carry a chain tool. You should inspect your chain before. But I always carry a chain tool because I want to help other people. If you're a mechanic, that's the difference between you being a mechanic and really truly being what I call a true mechanic. I'm going to ride with John. If he breaks up, I want to help him. All right. So he breaks down. Right? Some riders drop the hammer, baby. John's down. Let's go, man. Leave that guy. Me? Nope. Hey, I can learn something here. He broke something. I'm going to stop. So, some M5, M6 bolts, some nuts, some wire, zip ties. Check around from some lists. But first, I would recommend, how do you want to be? Is it just you, right? Or are you going to think about other people for once? Yeah. That's what. So think about others. Help
and
others.
Always carry some ID in your pocket as well. Always carry ID.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Always.
And the cell phone thing is good too. And I'll tell you one thing. It's good for some pictures and for some learning. So before we fix your cassette that fell apart, let's take a picture of it and we'll put it on Instagram and people can laugh at us.
Final question we're on to. James Hodgson. Is John going to be growing a big moustache for the momentous occasion? All right, thanks, James. Now, James, we've had this momentous occasion planned in for months now, probably coming up to a year, and I haven't shaved in a year, so...
Yeah. Well, we have some supplements on TV, late night TV. I think there's some supplements they talk about that you can probably take, John.
Oh, the old hair growth.
Yeah, the hair growth, testosterone substitutes, that type of thing. Try
I'll give them a go. Yeah. Just to overdose.
Yeah. Well, that's mustache doping, so we're not going to let you in the competition. So.
Shucks. Right. Anyway, it's been absolutely brilliant, and I can't thank Calvin enough for coming in and help answer some of your questions. And he's gone into the depths, which, well, frankly, I couldn't, because I don't have that wealth of experience and knowledge, and I'm worried what he's going to do with that hammer right now. But anyway, as ever, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been great to be here, and I was only disappointed that this wasn't the tool that you immediately went and got when that wheel was out. But
No. The hammer, I only use that to remove pressure bottom brackets.
Often.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Get them out with that. But it's a pleasure. And as ever, remember to like and share this video. Leave us your questions down there in the comments for your technical problems. And who knows, I have had to, in the past, actually refer to Calvin for a couple of them, and I'm sure I will do in the future, just to get that definite answer. And remember as well to check out the GCN shop at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com, where we have a whole heap of goodies. We don't have any stickers like this, but, well, you've got something else to spend your pocket money on in there too. And now, for another great video, click just down here.
Here.
Here.